Okay. You got your question list there?
So your mind was racing for 2 days. Huh?
Yeah, it was.
Off the tees.
And you told me you drink 4?
Dude, don't get me going about how much caffeine I drink.
I couldn't drink 4. I would have been crawling on the ceiling like.
Right now it's probably like 300 milligrams a day. Which is like, I don't know how many cups of coffee that is. But
Quite a few.
anyways, Jeff,
Yes.
my man, everybody, welcome to the Recoverysupps podcast.
Hello.
I'm here with my buddy Jeff Minard.
Kyle.
This is a
Yes,
great
very
friend
good
of
friend.
mine, and we're gonna be he's gonna be sharing his story, and we're getting into talking about recovery. So, yeah, Jeff, tell me a little bit about yourself, and we'll start there.
I was born in Wilmington, Delaware. My father was in the Navy, so my brother and I are both born in Delaware. My dad's from New Jersey, my mom was from Pennsylvania. And so we moved to Anaheim, California. And that's where my younger brother and sister were born. And from there we moved to Spokane, Washington. And
So you've been all over the place.
we traveled.
Growing up.
Growing up, we traveled a lot. When we ended up in Spokane, what I can remember, as far as I don't remember anything from moving and all that. I remember a guy blowing those those daisy things. You could blow on and stuff comes off them. A guy,
dandelion?
Yeah, a guy did that to me through a fence, and I remember that. And that was when we lived back here. I remember that as a child. I remember that happening to me. It scared the shit out of me. And so we moved to California, and then we moved to Spokane. And in Spokane, I remember the 5th grade. I can't remember anything behind that. I don't know why. I was
Younger than 5th grade.
I was very abused as a child.
Okay.
I was breech-born in 1961, and my grandma told me that my mom didn't want to touch me for my first 30 days on the planet Earth. I was black and blue from head to toe. And that's a real hard birth back in 1961 when you come out ass first. And my sister ahead of me, she was born 2 years before me, and she only weighed 3 pounds. They had to put her in an incubator. And here I come full term, ass first. And so my mom never bonded with me. My mom never loved me. And I know that she didn't as I was a child. As I grew up, we grew up in Spokane, Washington, and I was like angry all the time. And I remember my little brother standing there, Daniel, he was 1 year younger than me. He told me he just wanted to hang out with me, and I was so mean. I don't want to hang out with you. And now that he's dead, I think back about that memory and how I should have been a big brother. I said,
Right.
come on. And I didn't do that.
How did your brother die?
My brother died of, he had an infection in his back. He broke his back. He shot cocaine at his apartment. The cops came in and he was hanging off the balcony because they wouldn't find him. He fell 3 stories to
Crack or?
No, he was shooting coke.
Oh, shoot.
He fell and shattered his backbone. And back then they put a steel rod in there. And it got so infected that his friends would squeeze pus out of his back and would get coffee cups full of pus.
Oh, man.
It was so so he was doing grains of morphine shots.
So is if you don't mind me asking,
No.
if was cocaine like a deep in your family?
No, just me and Daniel.
Just both of you?
There was 5 of us. The youngest 2, Sherry and Rick, they never touched drugs. And my oldest sister, she smoked weed. My oldest sister, she ran away and left a note on the table that she had enough. She was leaving. She wore a wig. Her hair was frizzy and she hated it. So my parents had her go to a special school. And she had to wear a skirt, same skirt. She wore a wig because she was so ashamed of the way she looked. And she was a bedwetter. My dad would make fun of her, and I was a bedwetter. My mom,
too.
I went in my bed, and my mom put me in a diaper in front of my friends. And back then they put the plastic liner around them. And I was hiding underneath the bushes. These kids were poking sticks through the.
Oh, wow.
And I knew at that moment that my mother hated me. So
Wow.
it made me go outside in front of all of my friends like that.
So that's kind of some form of, like she was trying to manipulate you or trying to
hurt me, but
defame you or something in front of your friends as a child.
yeah.
So was there a lot of that sort of
Yes,
as a kid?
as a kid. And my brothers and sisters were allowed to say stuff to me because they would say mean things to me, and I couldn't defend myself because I would get in trouble. Mom says, we don't have to listen to you. I mean, my mom had them against me. And so I grew up not even knowing my brothers and sisters because they all hated me. And I left home at 13 years old and never went back.
Wow.
And I just knew that there's nothing on the streets could hurt me like I was being hurt in that house. My dad was a good man. He would work and he would come home and all he would do is hear about all the bad shit I did. My mom would just run her mouth. Jeff, my father would just beat us, beat me or beat me, Daniel. We're the drug addicts, the liars, the thieves. We've both been to prison. Both were drug addicts. And Daniel died in 2014 when Mother Daniel died. And I got the phone call. See, it's a funny story. I tell you this quick story.
Yeah.
My first love was Tracy Clark, and his first love was Karen, and they lived next door to each other. And my brother ended up getting married to another. Daniel married this gal, his name Robin. Karen or Robin, I can't remember her name, but he married her, and then they broke into an armory. He got an AK, one of those big old rifles, and he shot down his barn. And he went to jail, and her parents made her divorce Daniel. But he loved her. So when he got out of jail for doing that, he moved back east. But anyways, my first love and her were best friends. My brother Daniel, I was here in Logan, my brother Daniel got a hold of me. He says, Jeff, please get a hold of Karen for me. Karen. He wanted to make amends to her because he knew he was dying, but he didn't tell me. And I got Tracy's phone number, my first love, and I called her. I said, Daniel needs to get a hold of Karen. He wants to make amends to her. And Karen was kind of cuckoo, and by the time I accomplished getting a hold of her, my brother died.
Wow.
And I called my family, and they wouldn't even let me come throw his ashes in the Columbia. My brother Rick called me. He says, Daniel died. We're throwing his ashes in the Columbia River tomorrow. I said, well, I'll be there. No, we don't need you here. My mom died in 2004, January 9th, the day after my birthday. And I didn't find out about it for a full year.
Right.
They wouldn't tell me about my mom dying. So my mom died. My brother died.
Seems like your family kind of isolated you.
Yeah, they don't like me.
Yeah.
And my
When
son,
did that start happening? As soon as
I left home.
as soon as you left home.
But I used to think I deserved it, but I really didn't. I was an addict. I couldn't help somebody. Like, I used my little brother's name one time. I helped the guy start a car. I didn't know it was stolen. And we drove downtown. I bought a bunch of crack and I had it in my mouth. And he stopped the car and he started running. I thought, what the hell? And the cops surrounded the car and had a gun in my face. And so I swallowed it all. I used my little brother's name because I didn't want to go to jail.
Oh wow.
And so my little brother was driving from Moscow, Idaho to see my mom in Spokane, and he got pulled over. And they found out he had a ticket under my name, and he got arrested.
Wow.
I did
So that was kind of.
I
So it's not like you're perfect. So they have some.
they have reasons.
They have reasons, but it's. I mean, when they die and you can't honor their life. Yeah, in their funeral, it's.
Yeah.
That's another thing. You know?
And my sister Cynthia borrowed her car to go get a prescription filled. And I traded her car for a half ounce of cocaine. You never seen it. I mean, I did stuff like that. I mean, I'm not proud of what I've done.
Of course.
And so I burned up the bridges with my family. I haven't seen them in 33 years. And then my son was murdered in 2005, my only son. And when I was with Levi, I thought, this kid loves me. You know, my mom and dad, they didn't recognize him as their grandson when he was murdered. They didn't want to went to his funeral. And it was so hard to see my son with his mouth sewed shut, his eyes sewed shut. I loved him so much. It was the only good thing that came out of my life with my son. He and his grandpa bought a house that had a meth lab in it. And so they had to take all the drywall out and had to re-put the drywall in. He got it all fixed up and he had a kegger home warming party.
Okay.
With 30 of his best friends. Well, these two dudes show up, these two punks. And they're beating the shit out of my son's best friend. The cops said, Mr. Minard, if they hit him one more time, he'd been dead. Levi went out there and just beat the shit out of these two clowns. And the kids, in the interviews, the kids were laughing how these guys are supposed to be tough dudes, and Levi just cleaned their clocks. Well, Christian Nava went and got a pistol, and his brother Richard Nava came back to my son's house and they shot him in the back to his heart and killed him. And just a month before that, I told Levi, I said, Levi, you can't stick up for people in the morning. He says, why, Dad? He grew up knowing I threw fists. And he threw fists. I told him only two things will happen in this country if you do that, Levi. You either get killed or you go to prison. A month later, my son was murdered. The only good thing that I had, it was mine, you know. I lost him too. I was clean and sober when it happened.
That's a blessing.
But after it happened, I lost everything and I went to Salt Lake City and I just did coke every day, Pioneer Park. I stole, I conned people on money every day. I would talk about my son's death and guys going to his funeral. I was lying to get money from people and they would empty their wallets to me. I did that for 3 years. It was underneath the bridge in Salt Lake City. I sold 22 flat screen TVs from Target. I was a walking crime wave. I didn't care about nobody.
Right.
Then I got caught and went to prison.
It's like you're fueling that resentment.
I was so mad
the death
about
of your son.
I was so mad. And my mom and dad.
You just had to escape with the drugs.
Yeah.
And that was the only way that could be possible.
I smoked and drank all day long. $300 a day I spent for 3 years. That's a lot of money.
What happened after 3 years? Why?
I got arrested and went to prison.
Oh, okay.
And I was in a boat on
With
the
the
floor.
Target thing, or
Yeah, all that stuff. They put me in prison. And I was laying on the floor. It was so dirty. In prison. Yeah, I knew I needed to talk to God, but I was so tired of lying to God. I couldn't even pray. I tried so hard to pray, I couldn't. So I started writing. I would write to God. I started writing poetry. And I wrote like 400 poems. I think you've seen it.
Yeah, you're a master poet.
I started writing poetry about my life. And my spiritual connection happened in prison. Not that I was trying to find God to get out. I tried to find God just to live. I was so empty, man. And my family didn't want me. My son was dead. I was so alone. That utter loneliness that they talk about in the big book.
Right.
And that's how I lived. And, when I got out of jail, I went right and bought myself a bunch of crack. I had crack in my sock and a pipe in my sock. I went to see my PO. And as soon as I got done with him, I went around to the dumpster and was smoking crack. I couldn't stay clean there for a long time.
Right.
And I can't blame it on Levi, but I blame it on me because if I just would have told him more about what would happen to him. But he saved somebody's life. And so I violated my parole, went back to prison. And I promised myself I wouldn't disgrace my son no more. So when I got out, I went to a Cache Valley Bank. I got a job remodeling that bank. I got an apartment there. I had no money, but the owner gave me a key. He said, pay me when you get money. That's when I was introduced to meth. And I started shooting meth. I had a really good job. And the kids that worked with us, they would get drugs too, but they didn't do it like I did. They would tell the boss, hey, that guy, because I act weird. When I shoot, I act like an idiot. It's just, I change. I become an animal. And I'm not proud of that, you know?
So yeah, if you went to jail,
I did 3 years in this jail as a state inmate.
then you got out, you got a PO, then you went back out and started doing harder stuff.
I started doing meth, and
What brought you back in?
What happened?
Another rock bottom, or
What happened was,
did you? What was your next?
I went to jail. When I got out of jail, my last time I got out of jail, I told myself I'm not going to do it anymore. And I went to drug court. And I graduated drug court. They made me do 9 months longer because they said I had 30 away, but I never used. So
Drug court's a great program.
I did drug court.
Yeah.
I was in it for 2 years. And I was renting the basement at Kirk Tuttle, my best friend. And he was smoking meth in his room. And he told me when I got 30 away, he even called people, hey, Jeff Lucier, he hasn't done no meth. Well, he was doing it in his room.
Oh.
And I didn't find out about it until I was laying on the bed with him when he was dying. He told me the truth that he was smoking meth in the house, that's why. But the prosecutor, Walsh, he was a prosecutor for drug court. And when I graduated, he said, Jeff, I don't understand why you lied to Angie about your dirty UA. And I didn't lie to him. I didn't use. They didn't believe me. If it was somebody else using it in a room, I didn't know they were using it, so.
Secondhand smoke or something?
Yeah, but I was telling the truth. And nobody would believe me. I was so mad. So I got to drug court, I used. You guys don't think I stayed clean? Fuck you. And I used.
Buckets, yeah.
But I didn't use like I was. I started to slow down and stop. My best friend Kurt, I was telling you about, he killed himself in my trailer last year. When I seen his dead body there, I knew that I would never use drugs again. So I checked into Golden Steps. And I've been involved with Golden Steps for the last 15 months. I'm a man that if my father saw me today, he'd be proud of me.
That's right.
And I don't have no family, but dear friends like you and a few other people. It was really difficult to stop because I used that was a solution to all my problems. It was a needle of dope in my arm.
So you got sober at Golden Steps.
Yes.
That program got you sober.
Yes, I did. It changed my life. I've been invited in your home. You know, me and you became friends through a period of time. It wasn't just, oh, hey, Jeff, come on over my house. It took a long time for you to trust me.
Right.
And I earned your trust. Just like I trust you with my story. I trust you with, you're a good man. And I've surrounded myself with people like you, Kyle. And that's what saved my life. Our friends like you.
Thank you, Jeff.
You carry a message silently, but you act like a grown man, and you have a code of honor, a code of ethic. And I believe I have the same thing now. I try not to harm nobody. I don't harm people. I don't steal. I will not steal from the store. I don't steal no more. I don't lie.
Especially now that times are tough.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't have much of
It's
an income.
difficult to get any sort of groceries out there right now.
Yeah.
And you're still strong. That means a lot.
I live in a shelter by myself, and I was kicked out of the place I was at.
Yeah, that's a trip, dude.
There was a child molester living there, and I made a big deal about it. But that's just who I am. I think people should know when they take their kids there to a park setting that there's a child molester living there, working for the company. He should have to wear a certain color shirt or something so everybody knows. And that's how I feel about it. There's a lot of kids there, so I got kicked out because of that. So now I got my cheddar in front of a friend's shop, and it's lonely.
Yeah.
And it's horribly lonely, bro. But I use my phone. I call people. I call you all the time. I called Damien. I went to the rec center today with Damien. He got me a membership for 1 month. I get it go there for $20 a month. I got people that believe in me today, not because I told them, it's because of my action. I've really worked hard to change, and I never changed before, Kyle. But I changed. I just.
So what was the change? What happened?
What happened was I realized that I was full of shit the way I was living. And so I realized I had to change everything, the way I talked, the way I believe in God, the way I pray to God, the things I try to do for God. The people I don't try to help helpless people no more. I did that for years, and all it got me was problems. But if somebody's really trying to change, I'd love to be a part of that, because it is hard to change.
Yeah, what do you have to say to somebody who's fresh in their recovery? What advice do you have for them? Because you've got multiple years under your belt.
Yes, I would say to them that first week, even though it's hell, go through that. Make sure you're where you want to be, because your mind is so clouded when you first get there that you think wrong. And thoughts are coming out wrong because you're still under a drug haze. It takes 30 days just to get all that shit out of your body. So you got to at least give it 30 days. And then once you give that 30 days, forget about that 30 days and work on a new 60.
Forget about that 30 days. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Because all
those thoughts were just
it's all twisted,
distorted, or
just get through your 30 days and then start your treatment. I've seen people try to leave after just 2 months. They're not going to get it. And I go every day still, Kyle. And I don't have nothing else to do, but I do it because I enjoy what it's doing for me.
Right.
I participate, I share, I talk, and people will listen to me. I've had counselors tell me that, Jeff, you teach a lot of people still. And the fact that I'm able to carry a message, it ignites that thing inside of me that I don't want to use. I absolutely don't. I believe I will never put a needle in my arm again. I'm convinced. I'll never do it again. But I shot every single I did every bit of dope I had to do. I mean, I got $1 million in each arm.
Right.
And that's no exaggeration.
Right.
Now I have friends that invite me to the gym. I go and do stuff. I ride my little scooter around. I've gone through one major surgery where they cut through my stomach and my back. I'm getting my shoulder replaced next week. I'm getting sentenced Monday. And my attorney, when I go to visit him, he just shakes his head. He says, "You have changed, Jeff. You are not the man that they got arrested." And for my attorney to say that, because my attorney is an old Mormon. Oh boy, he's but to hear him,
sounds like an honest, hardworking guy.
Yeah, he is. And when he gives me a compliment, I know that he means it. My life, I read my big book. I pray constantly. I write poetry.
Yeah, explain that to me. How did you get into poetry? Well, you told me when you were in prison.
When I was in prison, I would write.
How has that helped your recovery?
Because when you write stuff down, you don't write lies, number one. It takes too much work. You write honest stuff. And the more I wrote, the closer I got to God. And I would write a poem. Well, my poems, I write them where it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, using or not using it, the poem you can relate to. And I did that as I wrote them like that on purpose. So it could be like a motivational book. And I got some prison art to put with it. So I'm gonna put like 10, and I've contacted a publisher. And they want to publish, I sent them a manuscript.
Oh, that's cool.
And they said they're gonna publish my book. But I needed $3,000 to put up, to help do the, if I give them $3,000, they'll run and make the books. They'll design the cover.
Oh, that's not too bad.
And what I want to do is, I want $1 off my book to go to women that have been beat up by people. I want $1 off the book to go to children that lost their parents to prison. I wanted $1 off each book to go to an art fund for guys that are trying to change their lives that don't have the stuff for artwork. I wanted $1 off my book to go to the different churches that have helped me find myself and find God. And I want $1 off each book to go to me. So I have enough for 2 books. And if I sell them for $22 a piece, I know I can sell them, if I got it out there. It's that good of poetry. And it's poetry that it's not just about drugs. It's about finding God. And I would love to read one to you, but I don't have it with me.
Yeah, we'll have to get together.
We can add it to the thing once we.
Yeah.
But God has changed me. No, God has opened doors for me to change, and I've gone through those doors. I didn't change myself. I'm a man that if my dad walked up to me today, he'd be proud of me.
That's right. That's right.
I haven't seen my dad in so long. I love him. I call his phone number every day. I get the answer machine, but I always tell him I love him. And I miss him.
Just to hear the answering machine.
See, it's just like that. There's a lady that's looking out for me. I lived there for 8 years. And I made some good friends. When they made me leave, it was sad. And, there was a guy named Skip that lived there for 28 years. And he died in the hospital. I got a phone call while I was at AA meeting. And they said that he was in hospice. And I got there and I held his hand and I told him I loved him. He kept moving around, and so I wrote a poem to him. And the nurse came in and gave him a shot of morphine, and he was dead 7 minutes later. He was dead. He was a good man. It was hard. It was hard to see him die. I'm 63 years old, and I shouldn't even be here. I'm a miracle. I'm a walking miracle. And I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful that we have a Creator that loves us no matter what we're doing wrong. And it's like an umbrella. And if we choose to go somewhere besides the shady umbrella, we lose. And it's a big, wide umbrella that He's got for us. And I believe that with all my heart and soul that I almost died at first dam. We were swimming, and I was on this paddleboard, and I got out in the middle of the lake. I thought, well, this is pretty easy. So I got on my knees and was paddling.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there working, remember?
I stood up and fell off. I kept trying to get, the paddleboard kept moving away from me. And Mark Bishop.
Mark's paddleboard, right?
Yeah, Mark Bishop, he paddled out there, and I was going under. I was going under. And right when I was going under the water, he had that paddle right there. Dude. I was going down to the bottom of the lake. So there's a reason I'm here. I've been shot in the face. All my teeth are all missing because I got shot. God's got me here for a reason. And I believe that with all my heart and soul. I'm honored to be your friend, and I'm honored to do this with you.
Of course.
You played a big part of my recovery.
Anytime, bro. Like, you've got an amazing story, and a lot of people, you can help a lot of people. And that's why I wanted to give you this platform to share your story.
Yeah.
And your recovery is amazing, dude.
Yes.
Definitely inspiration for me, too. Helps me stay sober.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
I've been clean for 15 months. I've had a surgery done. My back was, they had to go through my stomach and take my stomach out and take the broken pieces out. And it's been 9 months, it's been 3 months and like 18 days. And I'm walking pretty good.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting the shoulder replaced. And I took my medications the way I was supposed to. I rehabbed like I was supposed to.
Yeah.
And before when they did the surgery, I was washing semis the next day because it was my only income. I had to have it. But drugs aren't the answer. I don't use drugs. I don't use drugs no more.
Right.
I'm honored to be clean and sober. I still go to outpatient every day. Sometimes I don't make it, but I go enough they know that I'm going. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to wait to graduate until after my arm heals. That way I know that I'm not going to go back into the drug world.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my surgery done and my arm heal, and then I'm going to graduate. So I'll have almost, it'll probably be December.
Like 2 years maybe?
And I'll have about a year and 8 months, something like that. But I'm okay with that because I'm safe there. And I'm trying to get a job there.
Yeah.
I really am. I believe I can do a good job there. But it seems like it's hard for me because of who I am. People don't usually open doors for me to do that. But Damien believes in me. And
I believe in you, dude. It's a great place to work.
Yeah. I think I can help people.
Yeah, and that's what's the best part about it. Is you can give back. You can give back even if you don't work there.
Yeah.
You know?
I share all the meetings and I share from my heart. And yeah, I get emotional sometimes, but it's because it's the truth. When I tell the truth, I get emotional, and it's not easy being clean. It's work, but it's not work if you're doing what you're supposed to do. I call people daily. I'm around people daily. I'm staying with the herd. I'm not out trying to get laid, or I'm not trying to go out and find I'm staying where I belong.
Yeah.
And my life has changed, bro. My housing situation kind of sucks, but it is what it is. God will fix it in time. I believe that.
Works in mysterious ways, man.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff,
Thank you for interviewing me.
Yeah.
I hope I did a good job.
you did amazing, bro. Like you led the whole thing yourself, and it was awesome to hear your story.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the Recoverysupps podcast.
Absolutely.
And Fitz was also our guest.
Yeah.
It was so.
I enjoy it, and if I can ever do anything to help you, I will always participate with you. And I think you're an incredible person for what you're doing, and you're consistent. And see, that's what's important, is to continue. Just like that's change. You change by doing this. This is making you a better man. It makes you're helping me be a better man. So it's consistency.
Yeah, symbiosis. It's great.
And you're doing it. I've told you that for a long time
I
now.
appreciate you, Jeff. Well, you're also a great man and one of my greatest friends right now. Appreciate you calling me, checking up on me, just wanting to hang out.
Yeah, it's important.
And yeah, we'll get this episode out to the people and see what they think. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
thanks everybody.
Take care.
See you.
Stay clean.